Hi guitarlings, this is Gray at Hub Guitar. We're here to talk about how to tune your guitar to standard tuning. So the first thing you need to know about standard tuning is the names of the notes of the open strings. For standard tuning, that's E, A, D, G, B, and E. So you need to remember that in order to be able to tune your guitar. A lot of students like to use the mnemonic, every amateur does guitar by ear. So that's a helpful way to remember the strings if you can just remember that sentence. In order to tune your guitar, I recommend that you invest in a digital guitar tuner. I strongly prefer the kind that clips on the headstock. The reason I like that is because the headstock tuner can sense the vibrations just by being clipped on the headstock, which means that it is impervious to background noise. And it's also very convenient because it can kind of just hang out on the headstock while you're playing, and it's very easy to turn on and use. So when I'm practicing, I'll probably retune my guitar every 5 or 10 minutes. I'll check the tuning. So first we're going to pluck the 6th string, and we're going to adjust the corresponding tuner until it gets to the green. So if it's to the left side or to the red side on my tuner, then that's going to be too flat. So I'm going to tune my peg counterclockwise to tighten it. Right now it seems to be landing on the green. Now I'm going to go to the 5th string. Same thing, you can see I've got a little bit of red. I'm just going to tune that a little bit. Now if you heard that little ping, that's common. Sometimes the string actually kind of gets stuck in the nut, and then when it gets released, it ends up being more out of tune than you thought. So now it's sharp. I'm just backing down a little bit. So that's A. Now I'm going to go to D. Same thing. It's never going to be exact. It's not going to be perfect. And G. B. E. There are some other ways to tune your guitar, for example, by comparing the pitches. So if the 5th fret of the 6th string is actually the same note as the open A. Now you might notice when I play them together, they actually sound slightly different. And you can easily go on a wild goose chase if you try to get the guitar perfectly tuned this way. 5th fret of the 5th string is the same as the open 4th string. 5th fret of the 4th string is the same as the open 3rd string. And then it's the 4th fret of the open 3rd string that matches the open 2nd string. And then back to the 5th fret. So if I try to go through there and tune that by ear, if I do that by ear, I might be able to get it to sound okay, but I might not have it perfect, and that's because when we tune the guitar with a digital tuner, we're tuning it accurately to a system called 12-tone equal temperament, and that's a system that most people simply can't hear in their heads, because in 12-tone equal temperament, the notes are actually slightly a tiny bit different than the way that you might hear them in your head, and that helps equalize tuning problems throughout all of the different keys. So I do recommend that you use the tuner. You also might find that after you tune your guitar that it gets out of tune again, and that can happen just because when you change the tension on some of the strings, the wood of the guitar will actually move just a little bit, and that is enough to affect the tuning of the other strings, which calls for a second pass of tuning. Every time I tune my guitar, I always go in for a second pass. All right, so hopefully you found that helpful to getting your guitar in tune. My tips about tuning are tune all the time, get comfortable tuning your guitar. I have students that say, why is my guitar out of tune because I just tuned it a couple days ago? Well, I'm afraid that's not good enough to keep your guitar in tune, so tune your guitar often. Be aware that any change to your guitar can affect the tuning, whether you bump into these, whether you play a note very hard or you bend a note, even just changing the tuning, changes in heat and humidity can also affect the tuning. So do your best to keep your guitar in tune, and that way you know that if you're not sounding good, at least it's not the guitar's fault. Okay, that's it for this lesson. Thanks so much for watching.